And now we begin the study of an apex. So apex, this is an apex. Okay. Also known as a Wyckoff hinge. Wyckoff called apexes or apices a hinge. And how we draw them is a best fits approach, the same as we do with all structure, with horizontal support and resistance and trend channels. So how do we spot them? Well, we need to see price tighten. We need to see it coil up, like so. And what this does is to build cause. What do I mean by this? We studied cause and effect, I think in session 3 or 4. It's one of the universal laws of trading. As we pump up and down, price tightens and coils, and we gain energy. Therefore, it builds cause, and then we break out, burst out. Well, I'm sure if you've been trading or you've been studying charts, you've seen this pattern many times, and it will often result in a break up or down sharply. Okay, so let's go to the study. First of all, note the tightening of price. This is what we want to see within an apex. Coils up. Look at this bar. Very interesting. Why? This is a nasty trap for the bears. Think logically about this behavior. Traders will be aware, or most traders will be aware of the apex forming. Why? Because traders like patterns. It requires less work. It's easy to spot visual patterns and much more difficult to read the bar, to read the market bar by bar as we do. So we pump up and down, and then for 2 hours, what happens? 15-minute bars. So yeah, about over 2 hours, we hold a higher level of support, because this should be support. So this is bullish, and we're hugging the supply line. And then this bar slams down through our support, and there'll be rest orders here and here. There'll be sell orders trying to think, this is going down south, this is going down south. So it triggers these, and then it reverses to close firm. So this is gain. So this tail of this bar here underneath our support has gained many contracts. Okay, then boom, then what happens? We smash out and we continue north. Although ideally from an apex, we don't want to have this pullback here. What should happen is we should move up like so. But we still get a good move nonetheless. But in an ideal world, and more often than not, we get strong moves up like so. And what do we know? We also have, if we draw in, that we have 1, 2, 3, 4 touches here. Draw that across. What do we have? On this pullback after a good move out, we have a trading opportunity. I mean, there isn't a great deal to explain at the moment. The idea is just for you to recognize the structural element and how to draw and spot them. In a sense, as apexes are an important piece of structure, and they occur frequently in markets, especially if one is an intraday trader. So as you can see, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 touches here. So you draw this in. And when you can see rising lows, you want to get the best fit, which would be here. So you just draw this in. Okay. That's it. There's nothing too complicated to drawing a structural formation of an apex. Trading an apex is notoriously difficult. Most traders, they'll put, well, as we had this local level support, there will be traders putting them under here. But usually it'll be using stops to pull you in the market here and here, or conservative traders like to use the highs and lows of the actual extreme of the apex, and others would like to use the last swing high and low. Why? Well, because it gets you in less at the, there's less risk because your stop isn't as large. Due to these stops like this and here is why we have many fake breaks that catch traders off guard. However, we have a few tools at our disposal that aid us, which we'll cover in session 7 or 8 in detail. But let me quickly do this here. What do we note from here, down here, to here, to here, and then here? So each selling wave down is less and less, and then the last attempt, what happens? We hold gains. So selling pressure has evaporated. It's ceased. There is no selling pressure in the market. Every push down results in a smaller wave, and then we hold gains, which means there's no ability to push the down here. So therefore supply has dried up. Okay, good buying, very good buying. Good buying, good buying. Look at the spreads closing nice firm, and then look at this. Good move up, push up, push up, push up, which actually breaks the last swing high. Then we hold a higher low with this shakeout bar. So we can read that supply is negative as it's ceased from there to here to here to holding gains, and we can see that buying has always remained in the market, with this one breaking the last swing high and then resulting in a hold where there's no selling pressure, followed by the shakeout. Boom, we take off. One more thing to bear in mind is that the market is kind here and it provides us with a weak pullback to go long. Now, after a strong move up, after we break structure, but this occurs, this does not occur and should not be incorporated as a setup. If it may happen 10% of the time, we should break out, as I said, very strongly. Why? Because the nature of an apex is to build cause and eradicate or swamp the opposing force. And in this case, this should be swamping or eradicating supply. So when we break, there shouldn't be any selling force left. Hence why you get huge widespread bars coming from an apex. Also, this is clearly an apex, okay, but our apex is kind of like this. So we pump down, up, down, down, and then we hold gains. Okay, that's fine. But a very, very, very good apex, or should I say an extremely strong apex, should cool down it should pump up and down, coil very, 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 very tightly, and then bang, burst out. Okay, don't worry, we do have examples later on in the course when we look into the mechanics of an apex and we learn how to trade them proficiently. There's a lot more to apexes, but for this moment in time, all we're concerned about is that you can recognize them as an area of structure within the market. We'll go down to the finer details when we learn how to read price and volume and price action. Okay, any questions before we go on to the next study? How would I trade this? Well, like I said, we can read that supply has diminished. We hold a high level support, and we can see that buying has ease of movement. This is price action, so ease of movement. We recognize this bar as a shakeout, so we can buy this on the close, or we can read this, there's no supply. Alternatively, we can buy the pullback, but we don't know that's going to occur. But the point here for these next few studies on apex is that we just recognize what an apex looks like. Okay, we're not going to go into the dynamics or the internal workings because we haven't explored the price bar volume relationship as yet. Okay, excellent.